before the last century, this idea cannot be found. And healthy women with hormonal balance went through life and never had this, ever. And I know several of them. One of them is my mother. Never had resistance. She's now 71. It's not normal. Now I know that disease has become normal for a lot of people. We think that as we age, we should get arthritis, certain things shouldn't happen. That's just because we live in a high disease society and normalcy is dysfunctional in itself. Next slide. So the path. There will be blood. There will be blood. And for all of you young girls that you haven't bled yet, it's alright. One day you will bleed, and if you have good parents, they will make sure that this bleeding exercise for you is pleasant, and that it continues to be pleasant all through your life. For most women, this bleeding exercise is horrible, and we can't wait until the period is gone. We wait looking forward to the period, and we hope that one day we shall have menopause. If the period doesn't come fast enough, somewhat consider just cutting out the womb just entirely so you can just jump into it quickly. So we have, that's right, we have that kind of scenario. Next slide. Alright, that's the work. Alright, yes. So in the woman, there is 2 stages in a 28-day cycle. Pay attention. This is very particular if you want to get pregnant, but it just doesn't seem to be working. If you want to know how to not get pregnant naturally, and if as a girl you just want to figure out yourself. Now I remember, by the way, I'm at high risk of developing women's disease. One of the reasons is that the younger you get your period, the higher the rate of developing estrogenic cancers, like breast cancer, uterine cancer, cervical cancer. I got my period when I was 90 years old. That's incredibly young. But I just want to tell you, little girls, when it comes, my mother made a whole deal of it. I remember, I went to the bathroom to urinate, and then I looked down at my underwear and I saw spots. And I said, Mom, I have red spots on my underwear. And my mother said, she ran to the house. She got me up, she kissed me. She said, you become a young lady. Celebrate. Something great that happened. This is a wonderful way to enter into your first lead. Fantastic. Now, by the way, mine is very young to have a period. I'll explain to you why that happens. My mother had her first period at 18. It's a long time from 18-year-old first periods, no menopause, to 25 where periods can come as young as 7. And menopause seems to be the norm. So we're going to learn this cycle. So the cycle is largely in a follicular phase and a luteal phase. It goes through 28 days. The first day of your period is day 1. Periods usually last somewhere 3 to 5 days. So we're just going to take it as 5 days. So you bleed 5 days, and then you go into a follicular stage where estrogen levels go up. Now, there's luteinizing hormone, there's estradiol, there's several hormones in the female. But estrogen levels start going up here along the second week, and the estrogen levels are preparing the body for this process here in which an egg is released. born with all of their eggs. So men make sperm, and they can make sperm for all their days, if you're healthy. Women, not so. All of you young girls sitting down there, you have all of your potential babies in you already. You're in there. Just waiting on the right circumstance. Now, as estrogen levels go up, within the womb, there is a lining, and the lining starts to thicken because estrogen is a proliferative hormone. That means it causes things to grow. Don't forget that. Estrogen causes things to grow. So the lining starts to get fat. So that when this egg drops, it'll have a nice bed to grow in. Estrogen also causes a nice lubrication factor. So that from the hands that are attached, the egg can move very smoothly down the uterus. Now, as this is happening here, right around here is day 14. And at day 14, the egg falls. And it's falling, and between this day and the next day is the most fertile period in a woman. The fertility will last for about 5 days, but between this 24 to 48 hours, as this egg is falling, if you really want to have a baby, that's the time to have sex. And by the way, for many women, you're going to feel during this 5-day ovulating period, you tend to feel more sexual desire. You have a greater desire to be touched because your body is saying, impregnate me. Impregnate me. Impregnate me. You might even smell differently. Yes, you give off attraction sense. You might even move differently unconsciously because the body is driving the need for fertilized egg. Babies are called. When this occurs, so during this time, the vagina is a self-cleaning mechanism. And so fluid is released from the vagina that is white and sticky. It should have no smell. If a woman down here begins to smell fishy, it's because she has fungal overgrowth. It should be nice. At this time then, body temperature goes up by 1 to 2 degrees vaginally. And the substance coming out is clear and more stringy. So that the woman can actually note, she can actually take a vaginal temperature. She can know the stickiness and when it's ovulating period. High chance of pregnancy. If you're trying to avoid getting pregnant during these 5 days, you either stay away from your wife or use a condom. Don't do like some friends that I have. They said, we decided we didn't want any children. So we prayed and said, Lord, let us not have any children. Guess what happened to them? 3 of them. That doesn't work. Now, when this egg falls here, the follicle that's left turns into the luteus scorpion. Remember that. Because when the luteus scorpion forms, it starts producing now progesterone into this phase, this luteal phase. And progesterone starts going up. And the beautiful lining gets thicker and thicker until progesterone starts to fall. And that lining, if the egg isn't fertilized, sheds. The lining sheds. That's the menstruation period. And you come back to day 1. And a woman will go through this cycle multiple times. It's important to understand this is a beautiful woman. I'm not going to deal with breast diseases at this time, even though the mechanism of action is similar, but women have beautiful breasts. I do have to mention the structure of breasts. So some women have small breasts, some women have large breasts, some women have hanging breasts, some women have pointed breasts. Some women have breasts in which one breast is smaller than the other. Some women have dark areolas, the area around the nipple. Some women have very protruded nipples. Some women have inverted nipples. Some women have tiny nipples. All of that is wrong. Whichever the woman you are, it's okay. Not a problem. God designed us differently for different, I want to say for different men. There's no other way for me to say that. Yes, different men have different things. So you were so designed. That's all right. This area is where we're going to be looking at moreover this afternoon. So I want to mention that regardless of race, if you're Indian, black, red, Chinese, all women have the same scenario in terms of body function. It doesn't change. I'm not doing this. No. A lot of young girls have irregular periods and they have painful periods. When I was a young girl, maybe around 13 or so, I started developing painful periods. Ridiculously painful periods. Huh? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And these painful periods would be only on the first week. It would cause vomiting. It would cause multiple times going to the bathroom. And I would have uterine contractions for 12 hours straight. I didn't give birth to a baby without a pause. And I would be on the floor saying, "Oh Lord, just let me die now." I would make different songs. My brothers would be, "What's wrong with your sister?" And this was an issue that troubled me for some time. I don't have these issues anymore. Like I told you, these really body. Now, what most women do is that when that happens, they're going to use some pain relievers. The trouble with pain relievers is that they don't fix problems. So when you have inflammatory condition, then you take ibuprofen, Aleve, Advil, whomever, and it intervenes in the mechanism here. So that this is the problem. This is the mechanism causing the problem that is going to produce prostaglandins, which is what makes you feel pain. And Advil, ibuprofen, or some of them comes in here and blocks the mechanism. So that the problem cannot say it hurts. But the problem hasn't been fixed. Just the signaling so that you no longer can feel the pain. So when you take this, the problem hasn't gone away. In fact, every time you take this, every month, the problem gets worse and worse. Because remember, inflammatory reactions, pain, swelling, are the body's mechanism to say, "Help me, something's wrong. Give me a little assist." But you said, "You don't have time for this. You gotta study the test, you gotta go to school, you gotta go to work." Drugs. And some women I know have done that for years, ignoring the problem. Other people, they use birth control pills. They don't want to get pregnant. They want to be sexually active, so that's even before you get married. And then there are married women that I know that don't want to get pregnant, and so they go on birth control pills. Getting pregnant for a woman that doesn't want to get pregnant is a fearful thing. And so it seems a good idea to use birth control pills. What does a birth control pill do? A Allow me to go back just for a brief moment here, right to this stage. Remember I told you, when the egg falls, the corpus luteum develops and starts producing progesterone. The birth control pill stops this process. It cuts it off. No egg falling, no chance of fertilization, no corpus luteum developing, no progesterone being developed. So now the woman goes into an estrogen cycle without a progesterone balancing cycle, which leads to estrogen dominance. So now the woman has too much estrogen. And remember what I told you that estrogen does? It rules things. Let's see the back. But you don't work with no pills. We're going to skip drugs. These are some of the troubles with drugs, some of the side effects: increased risk of cardiovascular problems, heart failure, liver failure, kidney failure, gastrointestinal complications, hearing loss, allergic reaction, miscarriage, high blood pressure, diabetes. You were just trying to get rid of the pain, right? Your menstrual pain, or skip having to, get a baby, and you end up with serious complications. Now, some people want to use progesterone replacement therapy, and this is particular for menopausal women. And in order to balance hormones, the doctor wants you to go on a hormonal therapy. The trouble is, synthetic hormones, again, nature-made is always better than man-made. This morning, you guys were asking my brother about coconut oil. Well, I use coconut oil. I'm not against oil at all. But this is the principle game. Nature-made, the coconut, is always better than man-made, the oil. Principle across the side. So, the trouble is, one of the particular hormone replacement therapies that we give to women for menopausal issues is something called Premarin. And Premarin comes from mar, meaning a mare, and in, meaning urine. So they take hormones from a from a female horse, and they give it to you. And that's not very strange in drug therapy. It's quite common to take different parts from animals. But I don't want that meat. I don't want the parts to feed your horse. But in any case, synthetic hormones cause a lot of trouble. I need a lot of trouble, so I would skip this for sure. Now, I'm going to need somebody to hold the mic because I'm going to play a video. So this is going to show hormonal action. Because when we hear hormones, we don't quite get the importance of what hormones do or can do. It has to be held subjective. Somewhere in there. Alright? I'm getting nothing. Computer volume up. Is the computer volume up? Is good? Good to go? Let's see.
Soluble or lipid soluble.
Alright, very good then. Uh-huh.
through different mechanisms, depending on whether the hormone is water-soluble or lipid-soluble. Lipid-soluble hormones must travel through the blood on transport proteins before reaching their target cell. These hormones are then able to diffuse through the plasma membrane to enter the cell. In most cases, the hormone binds to an intracellular receptor to form a receptor-hormone complex. This complex enters the cell's nucleus, binds to a specific region of DNA, and triggers gene transcription. The transcribed mRNA moves out to the cytoplasm, where it is translated into proteins. These proteins can then alter cell activity and body processes.
I'm not sure how much you got. Hormones affect DNA transcription that leads to protein building that interfere with every part of you. I want you to understand. Hormones affect what? Every part. It affects bone health. It affects mental health. It affects all of the organs that are hormonal. It affects everything in you. Skin, nails, hair, all of it. This is interesting because this is how hormones go into dysfunction. It begins in the womb. Mommy, when she gets you, she didn't plan on getting you. It was a mistake. It could have been a one-night stand. It could have been with the wrong person. Who knows? But it was unplanned. And so mommy is stressed exceedingly. She has a baby, she's very full, not enough money, no father present. Who knows the circumstance? But her cortisol levels go up. That's a hormone. And her hormones become unbalanced. This travels through the placenta into the baby, and the baby has increased levels of cortisol. This hormonal imbalance affects every part of the baby. It's so much. In the latest studies from the other journals, it says that it causes the baby's brain to change into a male brain, female brain. Listen to me. Male brain, female brain. Male brain, female brain. Male brain, female brain. And then with some people, because of predispositions, they end up with babies born, and they wonder how their sons like dolls and dress up, and how their girls like trucks, and who knows what else. And some others, they want to beat this tendency of the child. Part of the mechanism of this tendency began with hormonal imbalances. This child is born with several hormonal imbalances. Depending on the mechanism, every child is different, but the child is definitely born with this problem from the start. Then, of course, instead of vaginal delivery, where you're exposed to these microbes and you have this immune system development, they cut you, cesarean section, you miss it, and these creatures affect the hormones. And the lack of these creatures makes your hormonal situation worse. And then as you grow, your parents don't understand about all my brother was talking about in terms of flesh foods. So they grow up giving you chicken, meat, milk, and what they don't understand is that how Baltic grows their chickens so fast is that they give them estrogen. Because estrogen grows things. Your chicken, your cows, everybody can go to market fast, no, they just give you estrogen. And so you already had estrogen imbalances. Now you go on this type of diet. More estrogen, more imbalances. The child is growing up. The child is now exposed to xenoestrogens. Did you know that there's estrogen-like substances in all of us? Let me tell you one that you might know about. This is coming out in March 2025 from Harvard Consumer Study. They found estrogen disruptors in false hair and wigs. Then, child is growing up, child doesn't understand, and so instead of dressing like the good old days, child's dressing mid up, arms up, legs up. Half the diseases of women are caused by but child doesn't know better. You see that? That's why it's so glad the Lord pities you ignorant and even presumptuous. Lord's will be. The child is growing, and then the child ends up in a cycle of fight or flight. This is a stress response. Let me explain. So this is either you're fighting or you're running away. This is particular to women, but it's not exclusive of men. Let me just say it doesn't matter if you're the victim or if you're the perpetrator or perpetrator. And I should say that forgiveness doesn't mean no consequences. But many of the young girls, they're molested. Many of the young girls end up in premarital sex with a boy that really didn't like you, who fooled you. Many of the young women end up in abusive relationships. Somebody that didn't like hit you. Many of the young women end up with a father that is not a father. And a mother that really isn't ready for motherhood. And so women experience anxiety, grief, loss, anger, bitterness, guilt, and shame. A young woman molested feels shame as if it is her fault, even though it is. And women will try to numb it, or deny it, or minimize it, or bury it, or punish it, or avoid it, or redirect it, or accept it. And as you're doing this, fight or flight, and the hormones get even more out of balance. Sounds like life, right? This person was living life. And then, of course, dealing with all of those underlying issues and all of the hormonal imbalances, Jenny said, life is hard, what you can do is eat. And my brother's talking all day about thick women. Listen, I think I'm a thick woman. Nothing's wrong with my size. So whatever people talking about, you get straight. But they eat. Women put on fat. And guess what fat is? Fat is a source of estrogen. Increased estrogen In fact, a man that gets fat, when I was telling the young people over there, fat in a man operates as an ovary. It's like a man getting an ovary. And it causes the feminization of the man.
What?
If you see a man as big as this girl, you'll see he has breasts. Yes, it starts to grow them. Fascinating. But this is life, right? Jenny, we started out, and then in Guyana, we have large amounts of mental illness, witchcraft, and we have the highest suicide rate in the world per capita. Because we deal with a lot of problems, hormone imbalances. But remember, we have a lot of pain, so we try to get rid of it. So the women say, let's eat, drink, and make merry. Tomorrow we have. And so now in Guyana, women are partying equal to men, more than men. This is a problem. The Bible says women are the weaker vessel. That means women do not have as much vitality, as much vital energy as men. So when we think we can live like men, if he could live with Shelly and John, then I could live with Tim and Paul. I'm going to show you. We're going to escape being with Shelly, John, and Jennifer. You remember David and Solomon, right? They had probably all the J's in the alphabet. It's impossible for them. You know that, right? And Solomon and David did regular love lives. But if a female tries to work, you already know where it's looking your female today. You have read where a female had hundreds of wives and several concubines? Hundreds of husbands, can't do wives, hundreds of husbands and several concubines. You will find that because it's against nature in a way that even more so than for a man. I'm not saying that's right for a man, but it's worse for a man. And I'll explain why. So here we have the womb of a woman, and we have the womb, we have the fallopian tubes. You're going to see it in a different way just now. We have the variant areas. We have the bladder, and it goes down there. You can see it really clear. So here we have the womb, and this is the vagina, and here we have the ovaries. This is where the eggs come from. They come into the fallopian tube, and then they would implant in here. But remember, because the woman is going through these hormone imbalances from her youth up, all of those factors, she has estrogen dominance. And what did it say estrogen does? So the body said, wow, it's a lot of estrogen. Let's use it. And it finds its way in the ovary, and it stimulates growth. It stimulates. You get an ovary. You get a big follicular cyst. You have big one, you have multiple ones. Body's just using up that extra estrogen. And over here, same scenario, but a different mechanism because this is in uterus. Well, it says a lot of estrogen. The estrogen is designed to make things grow. And the body grows fibers. Yeah. That's all that's happening. This estrogen dominant cycle. And we go to the doctor. In Guyana, we're going to the doctors quite a bit because now we have hold on, let me go back. We have a fibroid project in Guyana, so you go into the hospital, and all they do is cut this out. Was this the problem? What was the problem? So if you cut this out, what will the estrogen now grow? Something else. It's too much. this month, Esther, we have to do something and we like it. Make things work. But before we're doing it. So here we have beautiful uterus again. This is the cervix, the vagina. And the number one way in which cervical cancer occurs, Jenny, you all remember I showed you life of Jenny. Her mother had hormone issues. She was born. She had a cesarean section. She started using dairy milk. She grew up on fish eggs and she had a lot of stress. She had a lot of pain. She ended up eating, overeating. She ended up going on birth control pills because sex is not a way to deal with problems. And now, she's 17 and she goes with Tom. Tom is the first guy. And Tom has a penis that's inserted into the vagina and comes up here, and when her body sees Tom's penis, her body says, the innate immune system says, that's not me. Kill it. Kill it. Kill Tom. And he has creatures on him, not our creatures. Kill Tom. And the body attacks Tom's penis. It attacks his sperm. And if it's not shot with enough power, the body will kill every last one before it reaches to the end. Every last one. But after 3 months, she found out that Tom was cheating with Brittany. Tom, no good. So she says, Eric was in this movie. Sure enough, she asked Eric, and Eric goes in here. And the body says, this is not Tom. You are getting accustomed to Tom. But this is somebody else. Attack! And every time that inflammatory cytokine response occurs, a war is created in here. But Eric hits her after 6 months. She said, no. Mom said she's still like it. So she leaves. Then she ends up with Jeff. Jeff goes in here. She's 18. Jeff doesn't sleep. Out goes Jeff. And then she goes through Peter. And she goes through Brad. By the time she's to Henry, she's 23. And Henry likes her. He really likes her, she likes him. She's going to get him, stick with him. And she ends up having a daughter. And she says, yes, I like him. She goes in because she starts having some heavy breathing. And she says, something's going on. Because when she got her baby, she got a little bit fever, even more estrogen. And she starts heavily bleeding and she goes to the doctor does ultrasound, the doctor says, I can definitely see that you have fibroid on the outside there. And I see something else here. It looks like you have some cervicitis. I would say you need to go for a pap smear. This is her doctor. She goes in and she gets pap smear and they find stage 1 cervical cancer. I mean, I've seen this right here in my women in 20s, cervical cancer. Really creating issues within us. Oh God. So the question is, what do you do to help Jenny and Jenny's that are out there? What do we do? You tell me, you be the physician. What would you tell Jenny she needs to do? Let's go back from the start. What will you tell Jenny she needs to do here? Should she take this? Should she take this? What should she do instead?
Eight laws of health.
8 laws of health? That's not going to keep her from getting pregnant.
We don't know if it's okay. We thought you deal with the cancer.
What does Jenny need to learn to do?
You dealing with the pregnancy or the cancer?
She needs to understand this cycle, understand this period, so that she can avoid getting pregnant. Yeah? So she needs some education. Hope some of you can get it. Alright? What does Jenny need to do? Hold on. Here, can she do anything? No. Jenny can't go back in time. It's not possible. Can she do anything here? No, Jenny can't go back in time. She can make it different for her own children, but she can't go back in time. Can Jenny do something here? She can go on up. That will help a lot in regulating your hormones. What can she do here? Instead of using plastics, can Jenny use something different? Does Jenny have to wear wigs and false hair? What about how she dresses? Can Jenny change the way she dresses? Go physicians. Show Jenny the way. What can she do here? What would you suggest for all the pain that she has that's leading to a cycle of fight and flight? What can she do? Huh? Exercise. Exercise good for stress. What else can you do? Pray a lot. What else can you do? She can find somebody to talk to. She can learn to give it to Jesus. Can Jenny do something about it? I was talking to somebody else who they were weight loss. Can you lose weight?
Yeah.
Can you lose weight fast?
Not sure.
Can one lose weight fast? You can. You lose weight fast. It's harder than losing weight slow. How long do you think it took Jenny to get that weight?
Very fast.
Huh? How long? You all heard song about in church get that big? How long do you think it takes people to get this big? Come, y'all are on Facebook. We all know some people who started with skinny and then after about they grow inside.
9 months.
Huh?
9 months.
9 months to get from solid to this. It usually takes could be probably more like 5 years to get this obese. How fast do you want to go back to small? Sorry, you want to go real fast, right? That's alright. Then you can take it slow. Same like the time it took her to get that day, reverse it. Does Jenny have to drink? By the way, women are drinking more than men.
Water.
Alcohol is an estrogenic thing. If you've ever seen men drinking alcohol, a lot of them, when they have enough, you'll see the men start dancing with each other.
Not all men. Specifically.
Hormonal imbalances. I told you it has feminizing quality. If it keeps going, you find some of those men doing other things with each other.
Not all. It depends on the race of the men.
Women, does depend on the race.
Yes, of course. I'm going to tell you what is.
Women that drink alcohol, they also have even greater estrogen levels. So right now, man, it's interesting to see. That's quite common. So if ovarian cysts or ovarian fibers, do we tell them to cut it out? What do we tell them is the problem? Can they reduce their estrogen?
Yes.
Of course. Of course. What about if they come with cervical cancer? You guys are stumped.
Yes. Lifestyle change. Lifestyle change.
You do the same thing
Yep.
and reduce the estrogen. Because with the war created, the increased estrogen takes advantage of the war and causes things to grow. Same thing. And so we come to some very practical things. If you're a woman with estrogen imbalances and you have diabetes, which is very common, I'll ask you a question. To do what I already said before. You have to reduce the stress. Stress is a killer. The reason why women are so hormonal is because they're so miserable.
Good to hear from you.
You remember there was Solomon said that it's better to be on the
All stuff.
than in the house with her.
Yeah,
Not being in them is called fretting.
Dreadful.
You all see that they have a lot of women like that in church.
Yes.
That overabundant yes said we go to last number. It's coming from a lot of strength. We need to fix that. An unhappy woman will get disease. I guarantee you 100% of the time. And so women should be happy.
All of that.
The happier they are, the better for their health. The better for the husband's health too. Better all around. Now, for women that have painful periods, while you're addressing the underlying cause of reducing estrogen, you can take a heating pad and place it on the uterus and dilate the vessels in there so the blood can pass more freely, thus reducing pain. Every household should have a hot water bottle. All of you should have one. You have to balance this. What helps balance this? William cream. William. Chase tree berry. Grown cell. That one grows again. That's the one that you call dandelion. It's not dandelion. Grown cells are called little herb. Sinking weed. Another herb that grows in Guyana. Helps to balance hormones. Botu kola, another herb, grows in Guyana, helps to balance hormonal issues. Cumin and ginger, other herbs that help to balance hormonal issues. Magnesium will help to reduce cramping of any kind and nausea. If the woman is having bloating and extreme digestive trouble, which is possible, the first thing you need to find out is if she's constipated. Let me give you the definition of constipated. If you go once a day to have a stool, you're constipated.
Yep.
I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, something about that.
I am.
But if you're a woman like that, when your period is coming up, then what you need to do is get yourself some cascara or some senna or something to make sure your bowel is clean, because that's going to significantly reduce the pain. A week before menstrual period, if a woman starts drinking a snap glass of bitters, it will reduce menstrual pain. I don't know how to reduce menstrual pain. I don't have menstrual pain anymore. Remember I told you that I did. And so I have to figure out how to do that. Not everything fits everyone. So you gotta check yourself. But those work very well. So difference in foods. Here's the spot. You know the children of Israel when they were leaving Egypt? The Lord had them eating a partial lamb and they were eating it with? Don't throw away with your taste bud. Eat your pride. Red raspberry tea, ginger, all of that is helpful. The foods, whole food plant-based diet, rest and sleep. Many of you were telling me that you have a real problem sleeping. Apparently, you start to have several insomniacs. Some young people told me they were going to 12 and 1. Any woman that's going to bed after 9:30, you can't fix your hormonal problems. Let me repeat that again. If you're a young person with menstrual pain or an older person with menopause, if you're not getting to bed before 9:30, so that you're asleep by 9:30, your hormonal issues are going nowhere. Because you have hormonal things in terms of melatonin that occurs while you're sleeping. And the body can't repair itself if you're awake at 12 p.m. scrolling, watching, whatever it is. And of course, there are many herbs, including lots of Chinese herbs for women's issues. These are some of the things that you can do to reduce the estrogen. So you have to correct the conditions that were causing it to increase. Use some of these methods as the estrogen levels go down. Of course, you have to exercise and sunlight, etc., etc. And if you do so, you'll find yourself better. Menopausal women will stop getting hot flashes. You'll stop getting cold sweats. Your temperature will be fine. You're not doing anything wrong. A lot of the women suffer from vaginal dryness. It will go away with this period. You'll be just fine how you're supposed to be. Women will no longer look forward to the periods with cringing like it's coming on fit. I can't go too long. Why can't she go camping? My period is running. You'll be miserable. Why do that when instead you can do this? Alright. The Lord help you to that. That's the presentation here. Questions? I forgot that part. Are there any questions?